Raheem Sterling, come out. Let's get it.
That's right. How you doing? Okay.
First things first. Can you tell me a little bit about where you're from?
Yeah, so I was born in Jamaica, came here at a young age, and grew up in North West London. Originally, I was living in Wembley, and then for a long period of time, then an area called Church Road. So yeah, the North West area. That's where I'm from.
And like, I'm always a fan of those stories of people that like make it from like, and I know you don't, sometimes you don't want to glamorize where you're from, like how hard it was, but like, I think sometimes it's like, you probably passed this stage in your life maybe, but like growing up, like, is it hard? Like, what was the neighborhood like? Cause again, I'm from America, so like, I'm asking you these questions too, just like on some like background, because I don't like, I always think everywhere is dangerous as hell, like, how was it like for real, for real?
Yeah, so where I lived in Wembley, it wasn't too bad. Where I'm from in Wembley, there's surrounding areas like, as I say, Harlesden, St. Raphael's, Stonebridge, Church Road. These are all areas that are known for gang culture. So when I was living in Wembley, I felt like I was away from it a bit more. Like anything, you go to school, you meet new people, different influences that come around you. I always had a strong-minded mother, a mother that, you know, had a massive input on my direction of where I was going. That was someone, it might sound like the wrong word when I say fair, but someone that I knew that I can't do wrong because I would disappoint her because of what she's installed in me. So I always took that into consideration when I was out and about, even if I did get up to trouble sometimes myself, but I always kept myself at a distance. So like, for example, I had a very good friend of mine, a kid called Hanad. And yeah, we were like very close friends, grew up in Wembley. Then I moved to his area, an area called St. Raphael's for a period of time. And I remember like, even though he was my best friend at the time, both played for the same team at the same time, you know, he was from this area, so he was inviting me to places in the area with the wrong people around. And because he was my friend, just because he was my friend, I never went there. I just knew that's not what I wanted to do. So I think, as I said, with the influence of my mum, I always tried to make the right choices in those instances, whatever area I was in or whoever I was around. I do think at times it can be difficult, but as I said, I think in those areas you have to have your own direction that you're going and stick with that, and that's what I believed I'd done.
Sometimes where you're from, obviously it makes us stronger, but it doesn't define me, because I think certain people, we all have choices to make, you know. And my mom, she's starting to watch all my interviews and stuff now, because she's just like, boy, you better not say you grew up poor, you know. Like, she's like very big on like, hey, we might have lived in the hood, but middle class. Like, so I do think when we step off our porch and we go to school with different people, we hang out in the neighborhood, we still kind of have a decision. We don't have to be what our friends are, you know what I'm saying? So, like, I'm from the Austin community in Chicago, which is on the west side, probably the third most dangerous neighborhood in Chicago. So it's really bad. I saw a lot of, you know, horrible things coming up, but it's it doesn't define me, you know. It just made me stronger and made me want to kind of just get out and just come back and put on. So I feel you on that, you know.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why I started my foundation, and is because of things like that, the experiences that I've been through. I understand the challenges that come with growing up in these areas, so it was important for me to have that part, with, you know, having the eye opener for the youth.
I like to ask successful people, but have you ever had like success remorse? Like sometimes, like, as I continue to climb and travel the world, like, I still have friends that's not in family. Like, you ever been in a situation where it's just like, damn, I can't believe I made it here, but I feel a little guilty or something for the people that wasn't able to, you know, something like that?
That wasn't able to?
yeah, like I don't know. That's something like I don't know what to actually call it, but it's just like sometimes I personally feel guilty for I said this before talking to others. Like I feel guilty, like my success, like damn man, like and maybe because I'm still like I drive past. I don't know what your day to day is besides but like I still drive past the places I grew up in very frequently, and I just be like, damn, I feel bad. That's the reason why I started mine.
But like, I think maybe in a different wording then, yeah, so I think we're pretty much talking about the same thing. I feel like, as you said, everyone has choices,
Yeah.
but then there's some people that probably don't even understand at the same time. I always say, I don't believe careers start at like 18, 19, or 20. I don't believe that if you're going to be super successful, and it's not for everybody, but I believe that the younger you are and the more information you get, I think it's the better. It's not, you finish school and then now it's, okay, like what do I do with myself? I think it's important, and what I'm trying to teach and incorporate in my kids is like looking at what they're good at, looking at what their interests are and try to focus on that, and that's what my foundation is trying to do, is trying to help kids or young teenagers, envision themselves, what they envision themselves doing in the future.
Yeah. And I'm trying not to talk too much about football. I feel like, but like, how did you get into the sport? Like, how did you know you was good? Like,
yeah, so again, football is a thing that I would say definitely helps change the course of my direction. At a very young age, I lost my father, so that was difficult. I didn't understand certain things that was happening in my behavior. I was, we call it a mainstream school here. I went to a behavioral school for periods of time. So a mentor that I met just asked me, like, what is it that I have interest in? What is it that I enjoy doing? What is it that makes me, smile and laugh? And, football is one of those things. I said I enjoy playing football in the playground. And, so be it, on his mentorship, that was something that he helped me to do. And I realized the value of that. So, yeah, that's what got me into it.
Being an American and how I view different sports and like football and like one thing I find like very interesting, like just being like black. I didn't see too many black people. And again, I was a casual fan of like football, like over here. But is it like what am I trying to ask, bro? Like, is it like a thing where, did you feel, without getting into, because I want to kind of talk about like just dealing with haters and just like, naysayers or whatever though, but because of my daughter, right? So like she's in volleyball. Me and my lady, we are blessed to put her in a really great school. So she's usually playing around people that don't look like her. A lot of the tournaments and where she plays at, she's like the only black girl. And I don't. She acts like she don't care about that. But how like over here, like being like black, and like playing, did you face any like hardships, or like was it like normal, or like, because again, from being a casual fan of it, like watching it on TV, I'm like, oh, I don't see a lot of black people, and I just like I've always thought about that, and when I do see black people playing the sport, it's like they get picked on, and maybe I'm just like, this is a casual.
Yeah, I'd say I always say I think in the UK, in London,
Yeah.
growing up in London, I didn't face any of that. I felt it was very multicultural. Whatever teams I went to, yeah, it was predominantly white, but I felt in London it was a safe place.
Yeah.
Then I ventured up north to Liverpool, and I think that was a new experience for me. That was the first time I experienced any sort of racism or any thing of the sort.
Yeah.
Is when I went up there. But overall, I'm facing the same sort of thing now. My son goes to a school that's predominantly white, but when he comes home, his family's black. So I don't think that. Of course, if he starts asking questions, which he hasn't, like his 4 or 5 best friends, they're inseparable, you know.
Yeah.
So that brings me joy. So
Yeah.
I think, you know, as much as we give them information and whatnot, but I don't think he's experienced that, so I'm not really bothered about that at the minute.
Yeah. No. And then real quick, I want to talk because that's one thing I read and I was like intrigued on your sister, and the role she played in your journey, and you know, coming up.
Yeah, no, my sister, man, my elder sister, Lakima, you know, as I say, grew up in a single parent home, and she was, how old would Lakima have been? So just trying to give you guys she would probably been in like year 9, so she's probably like 14, 15 max, so 14, 15. She's cooking for me and my little sister. You know, there'll be days she's taking me to training, which is an hour and a half away, hour and a half back. We're getting home 11:30. She's got her homework to do by when she gets in. So, you know, she was pretty much like my second mother while my mom was doing night shifts. And I'm a person like, I never forget anything. Like, not because I'm playing football or whatever, that's just my nature. Like, I feel like if you've done good by me and, you know, I felt your love, like, I will always make sure that I incorporate that back in our adult life. And I've always done it with anyone. You know, my girlfriend right now, been with her since, 12, 13, like people that I hold on to people that I feel have value to my life, and my sister's one of those. She went up and beyond for me, so you know that's someone that I cherish daily.
I love it. One thing I was kind of, I know I was your head up a little bit when I was back there talking to you about like dealing with like naysayers and just like people. I like to ask people that because sometimes I get advice like just ignore people, but you know one thing I was telling him back there is as I've been able to drop these sneakers and just like product that people want and sell out fast. I think I say last year. I've been doing this for a long time, but like this sneaker stuff is just a little different, you know, and people just feel entitled to like, I want it, I buy it, fuck you if I can't get it, you know. And the last 2 years, I would say, my shoes been selling out fast, and I'm so used to being personable online. You know, I post my kids. Like I came up in this industry telling everybody everything I'm dealing with my whole life. But when I started dropping sneakers, people would just and they would just, you know, lose out on a raffle or they couldn't buy it because they sold out. I was just like getting attacked online, you know. And I don't have a brand. Like I am the brand. So, you know, when people are mad about it, they just hit me up, you know? So, like, I would wake up, you know, my shoe would sell out, I would wake up and just like, why are thousands of people calling me a bitch today? Like, what the hell? And then I talk to my friends and family that's not really in this world. Just ignore it and put your phone down. I feel you, but I can't talk to you about this. So, a lot of my, like, friends in the industry, because people, you know, different mediums, but everybody deal with this. Like, I go back and forth, like, and I stopped this year, but like, if I could have 2,000 positive comments, 3 people that say something that's very negative about me, I'll go in a DM and be like, man, whatever, and it's just like, I have to stop doing it because, oh, my bad, I'm a big fan, I'm like, man, you know, but like, how do you, because I feel like your life has been like in a microscope, like, you know what I'm saying, like, how do you deal with just like that? I'm pretty sure at this stage you don't check your phone when it comes to like
the social part now, like I'm so over the social media kind of checking and going through and stuff. Like I felt like at an early stage of my career, which, you know, I was really interested in, want to know what people think about me, like am I a good player, do I look good, you know, just silly stuff that used to go through your head when you're young. You just want to know what you want, people's validation, like. And then, you know, it's probably after a period that I had with, you know, newspapers, back and forth, just silly stuff regarding myself. And I was just like, you know what, it doesn't even make sense anymore I feel like wherever you put your brain, like if I put my brain, like I'm in a bad mood today, like, and you carry that through the day. So I felt like looking at those stuff was getting me angry. I didn't feel like it was justifying how I performed, how I was behaving at the time. I just felt like it was not doing me any good. And there's a lot of the young players in my team now that I see doing that, and I'm like, bro, just trust me.
Yeah.
Like, it's not worth it. Like, at this moment in time, it's all well and good and everything's going good. What about that one moment or one time that something hits you, then you're going to constantly want to be going back and forth with what people think. That doesn't matter. Do you know what I mean? As long as you identify in my life or in your life what means the most to you. It's probably different for you, actually, because, of course, a lot of your stuff is, when your sneakers are online, so you're probably checking a lot more than I would do. Like, I'm just here on a match day on a Saturday or Sunday.
Part of it is, like, understanding, because sometimes people comments, I take that in because I can figure out how to get better. And obviously I have a small team, so I don't have like a social media online checker.
Yeah.
That's kind of me.
So it's a little different, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little different, but overall, I mean, you said what it said, because at this point it's just like, I've accomplished a lot. Like, I should stop letting social media get to me how it is. And again, this year I've been really good at it, but I just, I love to see how other people do with it, because sometimes it's just like, and I've gotten my success a little bit later in life, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I wasn't coming up like dealing with this, and the internet is just a little different now. And sneakerheads are just like, this shoe is just different. You know what I'm saying?
I just feel like the internet is, especially socials and stuff, it's just a different world. As long as you understand your world and you understand what truly matters, like, it might sound easy to, like, for me to sit here and say that. Of course, like, I can't tell you the last time I've looked at a comment.
That's a beautiful place to be at.
Yeah, like, it makes no sense for me, like, because I know for sure I'm gonna see something I do not like, and it's gonna probably annoy me, not probably change my day, but it's what's he? Like, it makes no sense putting myself in that headspace, really.
Community. I know you're really big on that. You talked about your nonprofit a little bit. You want to go into a little bit more detail about what you got going on and why?
Yeah, as I said, with my foundation, like, I think I've mentioned it a few times. It's like, people's always asked me, like, what are you going to get into in terms of foundation? You need to do this, you need to do that, and a lot of the time throughout my career, it never made sense to me. Not saying that I didn't want to do a foundation, but I wanted to do something that, that I feel like I can have a helping hand. I can actually help in some sort of way, give some information, or see some positive come from it, that I can relate to, really. And that's why trying to help and develop our youth and our kids that I look at myself when I said in similar positions, not knowing exactly where they're going in life, going to school at the minute. They're going to finish school, and a lot of kids come to a point where they don't know what they're going to do. Or, like, I asked my little brother now, he's 15, like, I'm like what are you looking to do? He's like, I don't know. He's just going through. I think a lot of us were just going through, and I feel like it's good to kind of introduce things to people and make the youth understand, like, what's coming next, instead of it being a big shock. And that's all that we're trying to do, really, is open those sort of doors.
I launched my nonprofit about 2 years ago, and similar, I just wanted to me feeling guilty again, and just like I'm living in
guilty.
I gotta find a better word than that, because
it's not guilt.
It's just like, I deserve to be here. I worked hard, but I don't know. I just want kids to know that, like, it's especially so, like, in Chicago, everything is South Side. A lot of the rappers you can think of probably all from out South. A lot of, like, so in, like, the States, don't know if people know this, like, a lot of times, like, I tell this funny story. I was in Ghana in December, and just Ghanaian chick asked me what I was, and I was just like, I'm black. And she started laughing. Like, no, what are you? And I was like, I'm black. And she was like, nah, you don't know what you are. And
wait, let me I'm trying to wait. She asked you, what are you? And you said you're black.
Yeah, I mean, because I feel it's a different sense, and this is what I wasn't going to talk about, but I feel like, and my point to Chicago brings me back. Like I trace my ancestors back to the South, which is like Mississippi, Alabama. So when I travel and people ask me like, what am I? Sometimes I am embarrassed to say, hey man, I don't know. Like I'm not Jamaican, I'm not Ghanaian, I'm not Nigerian. I'm just black. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And I don't know if that's like an American thing. You know, because I wish I could tell you where I'm from.
Yeah.
But Chicago is like where I'm from is the West Side, but the South Side is a bit more historic. A lot of people migrated from the South to like the South Side of Chicago, and then the West Side of Chicago, which is where I'm from. So I started my now everything popping, all the cool restaurants, all the historic black neighborhoods. That was all South Side. So where I'm from is like so we don't have too much on the West Side. So my nonprofit is just like all about arts, education, West Side. I'm all about West Side, West Side, West Side because we don't have shit out there. So yeah.
No, but I think that's important, man. I think, I always ask myself, like, it's all well and good, like, you've became somewhat of a success, but then I'll say my guilt is like, how much people have I helped along the way?
Yeah.
How many of my friends have I, helped look and see life at a different view, And I feel like that's the one thing that football's blessed me with is what I believe that understanding of life is that's what I feel like it's truly blessed me with is that understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that's what I'm, with the foundation, that's all I'm trying to do is like I've come through in football and realized I was doing something at a time that I completely didn't understand, like every single day, developing a craft that, at one point, it's something that I was just doing in my garden. That's what I love. That's what I put all my time and energy in. And, it came and gave me back my rewards. So that's, as I say, when I'm with my kids now, and it's not putting any pressure on my kids or anything, it's understanding, the youth and understanding what their interests are and try to help them. What's the point of, if I'm not good at math, I'm just saying now, I'm getting a bit passionate. Yeah. If I'm not good at maths, what's the point of me spending 5 hours a day on maths?
Yeah.
If I'm great at painting, let me spend 5 hours a day painting.
Yeah.
And, you develop your craft and you reach to a point in your life where for the last 10 years you've been painting, you're going to be unreal. It's not going to be by coincidence. It's not going to be, by luck. You're going to be amazing. So I feel like that's the thing I'm trying to do in my household and with, any young individuals that I meet, is try to help them or try to give them that information about focusing on their craft and what they love and what they really enjoy.
I love it. And then one of the last things, I love hearing these stories of how people started working with certain brands and how did that come about. Like, I know you were probably you were heavily scouted, coming up. And I know it's probably a different system when you so young, working, playing football out here. Like, what made you sign with New Balance? If you could get into that as much as you can,
Yeah, no.
I'm pretty sure, was there other brands on the table that you could have signed with?
Yeah, there was other brands definitely I could have signed with, but like anything from 15 when my journey first started out, I always listen to people. And then I always look at their actions. So it's like having a conversation with you now. I'll listen to what you're saying to me, and then I'm waiting to see your actions and how you really value me. And that was definitely the thing that stood out for me the most about New Balance. With the manufacturer I was with before, and the other brands that were interested in me, is how I seen that they valued me, and then how they acted on it. I think that was incredible. And yeah, since then that's the reason why I came on board here. The vision were great, and it's seeing the brand grow is unbelievable. It's something amazing to see.
Yeah, I think for me, I've had the opportunity to work with a lot of different partners, and when it comes to New Balance, I finally felt like I had a space to create. Even things like this, what we're doing right now, a lot of times brands they have these programs and they just it's these big moments where it's a big media push to announce it, but nobody ever tell the story about when they like cut it because of budget or whatever. So I think you know, when I told a lot of my friends, like, I think I'm about to get in bed with New Balance, about 95% of them was like, I'm tripping. Like, you know where you from, bro? This is not a New Balance city.
Yeah.
And I got a lot of flack from, like, my close friends that think I was doing the wrong thing, but, like, I'm making them all eat their words now. You know what I'm saying? It's important to, like, kind of echoing what you're saying, like, watching a brand, like, practice what they preach. You know what I'm saying? Because when a brand wants to work with you, they always say things that sounds good. Some of it is on paper, some of it is not. But I think sometimes you got to let time kind of just go and see, like, oh, we really are. This is like the second or almost third year that we've been doing conversations amongst us, and like it's just very important. I'm really big on like not having like a Black History Month. It's just something that just like lasts like forever, because these are like conversations. I try to have these intimate conversations with people that's like not about just like product and like sports and everything. So yeah, it's been a pleasure working with New Balance the past few years as I've been able to grow. And I'm very just proud. Like the more I like did my research and just like saw what type of person you are, I just feel like nobody knows how strong. That's why I wanted to ask you that question about how you deal with like haters and like like do you could you name a time where you had to deal with like adversity and like you kind of got over it, like that hard something that happened in your life that was like hard that you kind of just got over, and you just like looking back, you just can't believe that you like got out that jam mentally or
Ooh. I would say, like, yeah, speaking, to be fair, it's nice to speak, man. Yeah. I would say a time where I was feeding my ego. Like, I was feeding my ego in terms of I was constantly chasing. It was a massive learning curve, and then it's made me grow as a person. It's like there's what the ego wants and then what Raheem wants. That it's like, yes, this is your career, but at the same time, everything else that comes with that, I feel like I was kind of having everything else in the back seat in terms of family, in terms of, myself, my career. Everything was just game Saturday, like my son's birthday, or I can't come out of the house because of this. And I just felt like it just giving me that moment, giving me a time to really evaluate what really matters the most. It's not to say I didn't value it, but it's to make sure that those priorities, I'm making sure I'm keeping on top of those as well, because it can get very easy to get lost in chasing stuff and not focus on what's here, because once this is finished, this is hopefully, if you haven't damaged it,
mm-hmm.
it's still going to be here. Your family, your unity is still going to be here. So I feel like that difficult period in my life, I'd say it's helped shape me for the better outside of football and inside of football as well.
I have a 10-year-old and a 10-year-old daughter and a 1-year-old son, and it's so crazy, man. Like I'm here, so I'm like left them, with my girl back in Chicago, and I'm like I'm gone for like 5 days, and it's just eating me up. I FaceTime my son, and my daughter as much as I can now, and it's so crazy. Like coming up, I was just hustling. I was like to come up, I was always moving around. Now that I'm a little bit more stable, like being gone for like 5-6 days eats me up, because I want to like make sure I don't miss nothing. Like his first time using the potty, my daughter like games I'm starting to miss, and I was thinking to myself like I'm glad I'm not no fucking athlete, man, because like how do y'all like deal with being away so long? That would eat me alive.
Can I say something? I've never been there for any of my kids' first steps.
That would fuck me up.
I've never seen what. I've always had a video sent to me in a hotel room, and yeah, it's part of like what comes with reaching a certain level. But at the same time, I think those key moments, as I said to you, that period of my life where I was feeding my ego and chasing. It was me taking it down a notch to understand that, you know, you need to make sure you're present. I think that's the most important thing, is being present in. And it might sound something that is not, but it's just, how can I say it? It's making sure I understood what my happiness was. Like, football is my happiness, but all those little details that help me do that on a weekend, making sure I give them enough time and love and energy to be able to, you know, focus on my job and not just my job, if you kind of understand what I'm saying. There's been plenty of times I've been in hotels and that feel, I know exactly what you mean, that you get to the fifth day a week and you're just, it is tough, but as I said, that's part and parcel of what we do, and you know
Pretty
what.
Sure you got a nice home and all that.
Exactly.
I try not to rub that stuff in my girl's face, because that's like gaslighting. I feel like that's called. But I think it just, you got to look at the good of it too, because like I just, funny you said, my son, his first steps, I was like somewhere like at a meeting in like California or whatever. And I felt so bad, but, it was, it comes with the territory, so.
No, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a pleasure talking to you. This is like very important, like for like my career, just like to be able to do this. I'm trying to get better at like talking publicly and just like ask questions without looking at my phone. So this flow very natural, But yeah, thank you so much.
No, thank you for having me, man.
Thank y'all.
Thank you.